Hey everybody, and welcome to my comprehensive farming guide. Now, a lot of people have told me that they find farming a little bit confusing to get started, so I thought I would make a guide to make it a little easier. I'm going to be going over different methods for farming for experience as well as farming for GP, because it's very effective for making money in RuneScape, and at the same time it's very quick to level up if you know how to do it properly. So let's get started. So to begin with here, you are going to need some equipment. It's very cheap and easy to obtain. You're going to need a spade, secateurs or magic secateurs, an axe, a rake, a seed dibber, and a type of compost. Most often you're going to be using ultra compost. All of this you can buy from the Grand Exchange minus the magic secateurs, or you can buy it from any farming shop or sometimes general stores. Now there are quite a few items that you can use for farming that will be useful, but the most important one is the magic secateurs. You will get that from the Fairy Tales Part 1 quest. Everything else is useful, like getting the diary rewards for teleports and stuff like that. However, the magic secateurs are by far the most important for farming. A few additional pieces of equipment that are extremely useful but not necessary are the graceful set. Obviously having any kind of weight reduction will be useful because you'll be running around a lot. Teleports, so just teleports on the regular spellbook. Make sure you have at least up to your teleport to Camelot unlocked. Anything after that is not super necessary. The farmer's outfit, which is gained through the Tithe Farm minigame, not super necessary, but nice if you have it. Explorer's Ring 2, which is done through the Lumberjan Draenor diary. The Ectophile, which is a very close teleport to the Mauritania herb patch, as well as the Artie Cloak, which will provide teleports to the Ardoon herb patch. So the early levels are notoriously slow, so there's a few quests that can help you speed up those levels. The ones that can be done at level 1 are the Recipe for Disaster mini quest and Fairy Tales Part 1. Fairy Tales Part 1 being the more important because it will give you the magic secateurs as well as level 1 to 17. A few other quests you can do is My Arm's Big Adventure, which is important later on, as well as the Enlightened Journey quest, giving 5k and 3k farming experience. So now let's have a look at some important levels for farming. I'm going to divide this into two parts. Important levels for experience and important levels for GP. So to start off here at level 15, you're going to unlock your first tree that you can plant, and that is the oak tree. You'll unlock the rest at level 30, 45, 60, and 75. Your first fruit tree will be unlocked at level 27, and that's the apple tree. You'll unlock the subsequent ones at level 33, 39, 42, 51, 57, and 68. An important one is your first hardwood tree, which is at level 35, the teak tree. After that, there's only one other, which is the mahogany tree at level 55. Kind of unique tree all on its own is the calquat tree, which you'll unlock at level 72 farming. Very efficient to do this, so you should definitely do it once you get to level 72 farming. And last up, the spirit tree is unlocked at level 83 farming, and you're definitely going to want to do these seeds. We'll explain a bit more about this later, but essentially at level 83 you should ideally have 5 potential trees planted at once. A regular tree, a fruit tree, a hardwood tree, a calquat tree, and a spirit tree. Altogether, that's going to give you a load of experience. Now, I am omitting allotments and other herbs that do give experience because whilst everything in RuneScape will give you experience, I find that these 5 are going to be the most time efficient and cost effective for actually doing it. So now some important levels for GP farming are as follows. At level 23, you unlock Giant Seaweed, which is a very good early game moneymaker for farming. At level 32, you unlock the first herb worth farming, which is the Renar Weed. Level 38 is Toadflax. Now after that, most of the herbs are going to give you some profit. It kind of just comes down to which one is profitable at the time. Now beyond the herbs, at level 55, there is a unique cactus plant that you can plant in the desert, and that is definitely worth doing and very cheap. Doesn't cost anything after you grow it the first time. Honorable mentions are white berries and poison ivy. However, I find it's not really time efficient to do it, so I'm not going to include it in this guide. So that's just a brief overview. We'll go more in depth in a minute here, but those are the levels you want to look out for. So now let's go over how you go from levels 1 to 99 through farming. So to start off here, the easiest way to get through these early levels, like I mentioned earlier, is the Fairy Tales Part 1 quest, which will give you from level 1 to 17 all in one go. You can also complete a Recipe for Disaster subquest to get you an extra 1k experience. Now, it's logical to do this first because you will want the secateurs as soon as you get to level 32 farming. However, if you do not want to do this, I have a pretty quick alternative that not a lot of people know about. If you go to the Garden Supplier NPC in Falador, she will actually sell you boxed hedges and boxed trees and stuff like that, which you can plant in your POH directly from level 1, and you're going to get experience as if you're training crafting. You plant it, you tear it up, do it again. So this is very quick. You can probably get from level 1 to 15 in probably like 20 minutes. Or you can go all the way to level 32 if you wanted. However, they're a little expensive, so I would probably just go to level 15 and then plant your first oak tree. Now, assuming you don't get any other experience from quests, from level 15 or from level 17 all the way to level 27, you're going to be planting oak trees. So to do a tree run, you'll need just a few supplies. For one, you're going to need the sapling that you want to plant. So for an example, I just got 5 oak saplings, teleports, and a rake and a spade. Also, graceful equipment will be useful. So the 5 locations are as follows. There's one in the Gnome Stronghold, and that's where I'm at now. There's one in Taverley, one in the Falador Park, one that's just west of Lumbridge, and in the Varrock Palace Courtyard. Now there is an option to cut down trees. However, if you talk to the NPC near the tree patch, he'll chop it down for you for 200 gold, which is almost always worth doing. So you're going to use a super compost, ultra compost, or regular compost on it and plant a tree. So for oak trees, yes, the ultra compost might not be cost effective, but pretty much all the time you're going to want to use an ultra compost on your trees, because for the most part, tree seeds are expensive and the ultra compost is only about 1k, so it's always going to be worth doing it. So some of the quickest ways to travel to the different tree patches are for the Varrock Palace. Just using the standard Varrock teleport will be the quickest. To get to Lumbridge, just a standard Lumbridge teleport. To the Falador Park, a Falador teleport will be fine, or a Ring of Wealth. Taverley, you can put your house in Taverley if you want to teleport there, or I just sometimes will run from Falador up to Taverley, it's not too far. The Gnome Stronghold, you can go right from the Grand Exchange and teleport there, or a Slayer Ring is a little bit quicker. So as with any plant in real life or in RuneScape, you'll have to wait for it to grow. So with the earlier levels, it's only going to take about 3 hours for your tree to grow. However, once you get up to the max level, it's going to take about 8 hours. Tree runs are beneficial because you get a lot of experience for the time it takes to grow. However, if you're not checking the tree runs on time, then you're going to kind of lose out on that optimization. If you compare it to fruit trees give better experience per cost. However, they take longer to grow. But if you're just checking these runs once a day anyway, then that just makes fruit trees better. So as for the tools, you'll need the spade no matter what for everything. The rake is in case your patch needs to have weeds raked away on your first time ever farming, and occasionally they'll just regrow while you're trying to plant something. That's kind of annoying, so you always need to bring a rake, but that's about it. Teleport's graceful, you'll be good to go. Alright, so now we're on to the fruit tree runs. Now they're very similar to a regular tree run, they just have different locations. You're still going to need a spade and a rake, as well as the amount of saplings that you can plant, as well as an equal amount of super compost or ultra compost. The teleports you're going to want for the fruit tree runs are the spirit tree system, very useful for these in particular, as well as just the normal spellbook teleports will be fine. So the first tree patch is in the Gnome Stronghold. It's very easy to get to from Varrock. You just take the spirit tree right there, and then you're just going to run a little bit to the right. The second location for a tree is just west of the Tree Gnome Village maze. So from there, it's very easy just to take the spirit tree to the Tree Gnome Village, exit the village, and then go a little bit to the west, and you'll be able to plant the tree right there. The next patch is kind of far east of Catherby. While you can teleport there with the Lunar Spellbook, I find it easier just to teleport to Camelot and run all the way down there. Next up, there is a patch on Brimhaven. The way I get there is by going to Ardoon and taking the charter ship. Alternatively, you can put your house there as well, which would be much quicker. And last up, there's a patch in Letia. I don't use this one yet because I haven't unlocked it via the quest. However, it's pretty quick to get there once you have the teleport crystal. So all of the fruit trees take the same amount of time to grow. They take 16 hours. So on average, you can probably get one done a day. They start with the apple tree seed at level 27, and it gives 1.2k experience total, and it scales up to the palm tree seed at level 68, which gives 10k in total. Alright, so starting at level 35, you can now plant in the Hardwood tree patch, and this one you definitely want to take advantage of as soon as you can. The seeds are very cheap for how much experience you're getting. At level 35, you can plant the Teak seed, and at level 55, you can plant the Mahogony seed. You're going to get 7.2k from the Teak seed and 15.7k from the Mahogany seed. Now, the requirements here are access to Fossil Island, as well as a good amount of time. The growth cycle for these are pretty similar. The Teak is 3 days and 2 hours. the mahogany seed is 3 days, 13 hours, so 3.5 days for it to fully grow. The easiest way to get here is with a dig site teleport. Teleport either to the fossil island teleport or just to the dig site and run there. It's pretty quick to get to, and there are 3 patches there. Again, you'll just need a spade, a rake, and the saplings, as well as ultra compost. Alright, so you're going to continue to upgrade your regular tree, your fruit tree, and your hardwood tree as soon as you can at those levels. So you're going to go all the way from oak tree all the way up to magic tree. You're going to go from the apple tree all the way up to the palm tree, and from the teak tree to the mahogany tree. I'm displaying the levels on screen, so obviously you can just look at the wiki. So one thing I wanted to mention earlier but I forgot is, at this point for tree runs and fruit tree runs, you want to start thinking about the GP per XP cost, because it can sometimes be hard to visualize what is the best seed to plant. So if you go over to the wiki, we'll look at it for the fruit tree seeds. You can see the GP per XP beside the cost. You can see that the papaya tree seed have a GP to XP ratio of 1.5, and the palm tree seed is nearly 7. So it's way more cost effective to plant papaya tree seeds. However, it kind of comes down to personal preference. Once you reach level 72, however, you can plant a new patch, which is the calquat tree. Now this one is very efficient, it's cheap, the seeds are like 1k each, and it provides 12k experience when you check it, so it's extremely cost effective. Now the quickest way to get here is by using a Taibo teleport. Those are about 8k each. What I normally do though is I run from the last section of my fruit tree run and just run south. So from the Brimhaven fruit tree patch, I just run south all the way to Taibo and do the calquat tree in the same time. The calquat tree takes 21 hours, so pretty much you'll get one done a day pretty well, but definitely worth incorporating into your experienced tree farming. And now the very last section, 83 to 99, you can now plant the spirit seed. Now it takes 58 hours to grow, and when completed will give you 19k experience. Now the one difference between this and most seeds is the spirit tree seed is untradeable, so you have to get it yourself through a few different means. You can get it through opening birds' nests, which you can buy on the Grand Exchange. Zora and other monsters drop it as well. However, you will not be able to spam this one out as much as others. You can plant 1 spirit tree seed at a time at level 83, 2 at level 91, and at level 99 you can have 3 spirit tree seeds planted at once. Now they also act as a transportation system, so they're very useful to have beyond just farming experience. Now there are 4 spirit tree patches. There's one in Ectaria, one east of Port Sarim, one north of Burnhaven, and one in Great Gorend. Today I'm just going to be planting at the one in Port Sarim just because it's quicker and easier to get to. Now the only difference between this and other trees is you can't actually chop it down, so to get rid of it you just have to use your spade on it and you'll destroy it. And that's it guys, that's how you get to level 99 farming through the highest experience methods. Obviously it's going to come down to you about how much gold you want to spend on this, because the higher level seeds are very expensive, but ideally you'd have all 5 patches filled with something. Alright, so now we're going to move on to GP farming. I'm going to highlight 3 methods: giant seaweed farming, cactus farming, and herb farming. So we're going to start with herb farming because it is the most consistent and the most profitable. So in Gilnor there are 7 herb patches. Some of them have to be unlocked via quests. The 2 notable ones are unlocked via My Arm's Big Adventure and the Mauritania Elite Diary. The 7 patches are located in Ardoon, Catherby, Falador, Draenor Village, Port Phasmatis, Trollheim, and there's 1 patch in Zaya and the Harmony Island. Now doing a herb run is slightly different than doing a tree run. In addition to a spade and a rake, you're going to need a seed dibber. You're going to want your magic secateurs or your regular secateurs, and of course different teleports. Useful teleports are the ectophile, diary equipment, so the explorer's ring and the Ardoon cloak are very useful here, and of course full graceful. I also always withdraw a full inventory of teleportation runes for the normal spellbook. I always start off by going to the Port Phasmatis patch, and the quickest and easiest way to get here is with the ectophile. From here you run a bit to the west. So once you're at the patch, the only important item you want to have equipped is the magic secateurs. These will give you a higher yield as long as you have them equipped. Once you have harvested all of the herb, you want to use an ultra compost. Now it's very important. So unlike tree runs where ultra compost will just give it a higher chance of surviving disease, when you're using ultra compost on a herb, it'll actually increase the yield and the minimum yield. So it's very important that you use ultra compost on the herb. With ultra compost, you are guaranteed 6 herbs with the magic secateurs. However, you're more likely to get more than that. So from Ardoon, I usually teleport to the Falador patch with the Explorer's Ring. From there, I'll normally teleport to the one in Ardoon. I'm currently using a Fishing Guild teleport in my house. You can alternatively just use an Ardoon teleport or a Fishing Guild teleport. From there, I usually go to the Zaya patch. I usually just use a teleport to House tab and run to the east. From there, I teleport to Catherby and run to the east to the patch. And last up to Trollheim using the Trollheim teleport. And there is kind of a long run to the west, down the agility shortcuts and up to my arm. A few other useful things worth noting is you can use your grimy herbs on the tool leprechaun and he will note them for you. You're going to always want to do this because more often than not you're going to get more than an inventory full of herbs, in which case you don't want to bank every time. Now pretty much all of the herbs can be done for profit minus the torsal seed, which is almost never profitable. Renars, toadflax, Avanto are all very frequently profitable at about 10k more or less per seed. However, if you go onto the wiki, you can have a look at reasonably up-to-date prices on what seeds are the best to do. So while herb runs are going to be the most profitable and the most important to do, there are two other kind of minor runs that you can do that will give you still a good amount of money. The first up we're going to go over is giant seaweed runs. Now you need to have unlocked Fossil Island for this, and you'll need to buy some seaweed spores from the Grand Exchange. But essentially you're just going to teleport to the dig site teleport, take the boat 3 times. You're going to take it to Fossil Island, you're going to take it to the north of the island, then you're going to take it out to sea. From there you just have to unequip all your items, dive into the water, make sure you bring an ultra compost, a spade, and a rake. Now the yield for giant seaweed is actually very high. Sometimes you get 40 or 50 just from the 2 patches down there, which will net you 10 to 20k possibly, so not a ton, but still a nice thing you can add on to your run. Giant seaweed farming can be done at level 23. Now at level 55 you can actually farm cactuses. Now there's only one cactus patch in the game, and that is a little south of the dual arena. So you just have to plant the cactus once, and after that you're just going to go harvest it over and over again. So it's literally free money. The cactus patch can yield you sometimes 6 to 10k in profit just from the one teleport, so it's totally worth doing. So herbs, the cactus spines, and the seaweed can be harvested obviously a lot quicker than tree run. The herbs can be harvested around every 80 minutes, and the seaweed and cactus are similar to that. Now if you have the Runelite client, there's a very useful farming tracker that will keep track of exactly how long your trees and herbs have left until they're fully grown. Definitely a nice plugin to have, but not necessary by any means. Oh man, there is a lot of information to do with farming, but anyway, that is about it guys. There's a few more minor things I want to mention at the end here. One probably obvious one is protecting crops. I haven't really talked about it that much. So protecting crops is kind of completely up to your own discretion. If you want to get the maximum amount of experience, you will protect your crop every single time. More often than not, it's not worth doing, just based on the ratio between the cost of the seed and the cost it takes to protect the seed. I personally don't bother because it takes a lot of time and bank space to keep all of these items stockpiled, and it just adds on more items and stuff you have to bring with you. But that's totally up to you. Another thing I didn't mention were allotments. Just don't think they're worth doing, but again, anything you can farm for XP is fine as long as you find it worth to do. I didn't mention the Tithe farm minigame, I'm aware of that. This video is getting kind of long and I was more gearing this video at traditional farming methods, but the Tithe farm minigame is good if you want to gain some active farming experience, and the farmer's outfit, which does increase your experience a bit. But with that being said guys, I think that's going to be the end of my guide. If you enjoyed it, I hope you leave the video a like. It took a while to compile all this information. Thanks for watching guys, I will see you next time.